Police say they are investigating a serious incident in the city of Nottingham. And I think we now have a statement from the police. You can see that now. It says that a man has been arrested after 3 people were found dead in the city. He's been arrested on suspicion of murder. As we mentioned earlier, police were called to Ilkeston Road just after 4 in the morning, where they found those victims dead in the street. Officers were then called to another incident in Milton Street, where the police statement says a van had attempted to run over 3 people. Now, those 3 people are currently being treated in hospital. Also, we've been told that another man has been found dead in Magdala Road. Police have arrested a 31-year-old man on suspicion of murder, and he remains in police custody. And Chief Constable Kate Maynell said this is an horrific and tragic incident which has claimed the lives of 3 people. So just to recap, because I think I was reading that and slightly probably confused as it came in. So that police statement says that a man has been arrested on the suspicion of murder after 3 people were killed. But what the authorities are saying is that there are also a number of people who were injured in another incident, and they are currently being treated in hospital. So we can now bring in Hayley. I'm sorry, Hayley, I haven't got your second name. Hayley Compton, who is in Nottingham. Hayley, what more are you hearing on the ground there? And thanks very much for joining us as this story develops.
Good morning. Well, I'm stood outside an incredibly important building in Nottingham. It's the Theatre Royal. There's columns, as you can see in the background there. It's very recognisable. But what you don't normally see is the police cordon. And in fact, there's about 30 or 40 police officers here this morning, and each of the streets has got this blue and white tape kind of flapping in the breeze. I can see from where I am at least 4 police vehicles, and I don't know whether you can see that unmarked police car just in front of me. I've just seen armed police officers get into that car, and just here is a completely stopped tram. It's completely empty, and every so often I hear a tram announcement saying that all trams have been stopped into the city centre. One of the police officers told me that he'd been here since 5 a.m. this morning, and we've just, as you said, had a report that they have arrested a man who is suspected of stabbing 3 people on Ilkeston Road just after 4 a.m. this morning. And then another incident where a van has tried to run people over. And as I've been talking to people this morning, they're incredibly worried, bemused. They think it must be something big to see so many police cordons within the city centre. People are saying that they're trying to get to work, they're trying to get to school, they're trying to get to college, but they're sort of reassured at the police presence. And we will bring you more as soon as we know any more information as to still why this police cordon is still in place if people have already been arrested.
OK, well, do stay with us through this, Hayley, and thanks very much for that update. That was BBC Radio Nottingham's Hayley Compton there, who is at the scene in Nottingham. And as you can see, she's standing in front of that extensive police cordon in the centre of Nottingham. You can see there a fire truck there, and roads have been closed. All transport has been suspended. And just to remind you, we've been given a statement from the police. I'll just go through that again if you're just joining us now. A statement from the police says that a man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after 3 people were killed in Nottingham. It says police were called to Ilkeston Road just after 4 in the morning, where they found 2 people dead in the street. Crucially, then, they say they were called to another incident in Milton Street, where a van had attempted to run over 3 people. And those 3 people are currently being treated in hospital. So from the police, it's 3 people who have died in one incident and then a separate incident. It's unclear whether those 2 are directly connected, but they say that another incident occurred in Milton Street, where a van attempted to run over 3 people. Those 3 people are currently being treated in hospital. And police also say that the 31-year-old man who they've arrested has been arrested on suspicion of murder, and he currently remains in police custody. And the statement from Chief Constable Kate Maynell described this as an horrific and tragic incident which has claimed the lives of 3 people. We believe these 3 incidents are all linked. So having just been unclear about that, this statement now actually goes on to say that these 3 incidents are all linked and that there is, as I said, a man in custody. This investigation is at the early stages. And it says here, crucially, at this time, a number of roads in the city will remain closed as this investigation progresses. Now, just to recap, because I've been reading this as we've been going along, so the police in Nottingham say that there have been 3 separate incidents. 1 man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after 3 people were killed in the city. And he said another incident which was linked to the first one was in Milton Street, where a van had attempted to run over 3 people. Those 3 people are currently in hospital. We don't know which hospital in the city they're being treated at. And then the third incident, just to be clear, was on Magdala Road, where a man was also found dead. So 3 separate incidents. Still a lot of police activity in Nottingham. Let's cross to Courtney Bembridge. Courtney, do we know yet how close these particular streets were to each other? What's the proximity of this?
So it's quite a large area, Regini. This is where the police cordon is at the moment, but this was also Milton Road, where there was one of the other incidents. This is the city's major shopping centre here, and this police cordon extends to this whole city centre area. There's obviously more of the city down here. And then the other incident that you mentioned, so this was, I believe, the van aspect, and then there was another incident here. This is Magdala Road, where 1 man was also found dead. Now, if I just show you, I've marked that there for you, but just to show you how far these 2 away from each other. So that's the road there. I know it's quite hard to see, but we're talking about the city centre is much further down towards this area. So it is quite towards here, sorry. So it's quite a large area away. There are several roads that have been closed. Emergency services are responding. We've got fire crews there. This is that Milton Road incident that we were talking about that I'd marked on the map. So just to remind you where that is, we're talking about this area here. This is outside the theatre, so this is where the police cordon extends to, and this is where that report you had earlier was coming from. So wide-ranging cordons, several incidents, at least 3 that we know of so far, and as you said, a man has been arrested. So we will bring you more information about each of these individual incidents as soon as we can get the information.